Radio Raheem here with Willie Monroe, back in the ring after a year. Now, usually my question would be about ring rust and, did you feel good? But you looked like everything was working for you out there. How did you feel?
I felt good. It was a little ring rust, and I had to, find my distance. I had a hard time finding my distance because John Thompson was 6'1". He has a long reach, so it was hard to find my distance. But after I found my distance, I started planting the shots and landing where I wanted to, so it was pretty good.
Two southpaws, it's awkward to watch, right? But sometimes a southpaw is more comfortable with another one. Was it awkward for you? Was it easier for you?
Well, he's actually not southpaw, but he came out the first 4 or 5 rounds southpaw, and I was like, oh, trick time. So I just had to make the necessary adjustments and try to win every round, you know what I mean, no matter whether he fought right-handed or southpaw.
Now, you knocked him down early, right, and he said that he tripped over your foot. He was just disappointed that it got called a knockdown. Did you feel like you connected with a shot and dropped him legit?
Well, it was what we call a cruzado. In Spanish, we call that cruzado. It's a left cruzado. It's right over the top. It landed off the jab, and then the second one was a clean knockdown. I feinted the jab to the body. He fell for the feint, and I jabbed him clean in the face, and he fell. So he's a good fighter, though, man.
We don't see many knockdowns that are a result of a jab. That was a clean jab of the chin, dropped him. Did you feel like you had a significant power advantage over him tonight?
Yes, I knew I was a little too strong for him. A lot of people say, oh, he only has 6 knockouts. He's a safety first fighter. I know I got power, you know what I mean? But that's not something I have to prove, you know what I mean, by trying to take a guy's head off. I got power when I want it, control when I need it, time and adjustments and speed when I want it. So I just do what I want there.
You look like you were having a good time. Right. And coming off a loss, sometimes there's something the fighter needs to prove to themselves, just to remind themselves of who they are. Was that what was going on in there? What was going through your mind while these rounds ticked off and you were winning them back to back?
I was just happy that after the fight was over, I was happy that I was able to do 10 rounds. You know what I mean? Because that sits in the back of your mind. You haven't done 10 rounds in a while. And then my last fight with Golovkin was stopped in the 6th. So it lays in the back of your mind with a year layoff. Man, can I do 10 rounds? If it goes 10 rounds, will I have the gas? But we had it, man. I stayed in the gym for a year. Even though we didn't have any fights coming up, I got to thank my coaches, Armando Munoz, Timothy Nolens, TJ, and Lee Davis, man, for just keeping their foot in my back, man, and keeping me in the gym. It showed. I wasn't breathing hard or nothing. I was just having fun, doing what I do.
And lastly, on the technical side of this thing, you mentioned having gas all the way to the end. In the 7th, when he switched back to orthodox, it seemed like he took a round off. It seemed like you were feeling him out again. Was that so that you could adjust to his switch, or were you trying to reserve some energy in case it went 10?
Nah, when somebody makes an adjustment to better their game, you make an adjustment to knock that off. You can either try to deal with their adjustment, or you can make another adjustment and make them have to readjust. You know what I mean? So it's all about how you think in the ring, and that's how I think. If he gets set, I gotta help him. I gotta make him reset.
After the Golovkin fight, you'd put on a hell of a performance. People were looking for you back in the ring. It's taken a long time for you to get there. Now that you're here, what do you feel like the future provides for you? This win, having a good night, where you see yourself going next, and how do you get to where you want to be ultimately?
We just got to go back to the drawing board. I have a wonderful team, man. Thanks to Adrian Clark with AC Management, and thanks to Artie Palullo for putting me back on this card, and thanks to Showtime, man. I'm just gonna sit back with my team, man, and see what's next. I'm really not gonna call any names or rush anybody. There are names out there. If I can't name a few, from 54 to 160, like the Charlo brothers look phenomenal. Their last 2 fights, so those would be good fights for me. Liam Smith that beat John Thompson. I wouldn't mind traveling overseas and go and fight him. Billy Joe Saunders, Danny Jacobs, David Lemieux, Canelo, the list goes on. I'm ready to mix it up. I'm not one of these fighters. One thing you got to understand is I don't have that big name advisor or promoter behind me to move me in this direction, that direction, and make sure I ease around this guy, ease around that guy, and fight this guy. All I got is my talent and 2 hard-ass hands, you know what I mean? And that's what I'm going to use. So any of these guys want to line it up, we can get it happening.
You named some big main event fighters in that list. If you had that one fight, if it was entirely up to you, which fight would you take? What's that one guy you could beat that could get you over the hump?
Man. Honestly, if I can't get a fight at 54, with probably Liam Smith and get that WBO because he's a pretty good fighter. I like to get that WBO from Billy Joe Saunders. Another southpaw, another slick southpaw, somebody with fast hands, somebody that can make us work, and somebody that we can make him work and put on a good show.
Well, good luck with that. We hope to see you in the ring again soon. Radio Raheem with Willie Monroe. Thank you, sir.
God bless you.
Excellent job.
Thank you.